Now today I'm going to be making up a Moroccan style stew, and what I'm going to do is cook mine in a tagine. Now if you haven't got a tagine, don't worry, you can use your casserole pot or your big cast iron pot, whatever you would normally use for making your stew. So I'm going to use a tagine and cook a really delicious lamb stew. So for making this lamb stew, I'm just going to go through the ingredients I'm going to use. Now meat wise, I've got 500 grams of lamb neck fillet. That is a beautiful piece of meat if you can go and get that. If not, go down your butcher's, tell them you're making a really delicious lamb stew. What do you recommend? What's on special offer? So I'm going to use 500 grams lamb neck fillet. Now we've got the spices here. Now I've got my spices measured out. I've got 5 teaspoons, that's the one you use for your cups of tea for the sugar, 5 teaspoons of Ras El Hanout. Really nice spice, you know, they use it a lot, so 5 teaspoons of that. Then we've got half a teaspoon of ground cumin and half a teaspoon of ground coriander. So, you know, it just adds wonderful flavour. Now what we're going to do is add a little bit of olive oil with that mixture in a bowl, and then when you've got your meat chopped up, put it in the bowl, mix it together, and that could be your marinade. So, you know, if you can leave it overnight or a couple of hours, perfect, because you know, the flavours just go into that meat. Now we've also got crystallised ginger. You don't have to use that, but I like that. You don't need a lot of it. Chop it up a little bit and you can just add that towards the end, and it just gives it a slight gingery flavour and, you know, a little bit of sweetness from the sugar. So add that if you've got it. 1 stick of cinnamon. Now with the cinnamon, if you haven't got a stick, just use ground cinnamon, maybe half a teaspoon, so not too much. Saffron. Now saffron, you know, it's one of those using a Spanish paella, and we're going to use it today in this stew. You just need like a good pinch of that. 3 bay leaves, dried bay leaves, so add those in, slight aromatic flavour in the stew. Then we've got a cube of sort of lamb stock, and what we can do is add that with, I would say, no more than 150 millilitres to 200 millilitres of boiling water. Because the thing is about a tagine, you know, the steam is circulating in there, it doesn't really escape, so you don't want too much water, so it's all gone watery and it's, you know, it's not a nice stew. Now, chopped tomatoes, I've got a can of chopped tomatoes. Now, obviously, if you've got fresh tomatoes, use those instead. Chop them up, keep all the juice, put it in the, you know, the stew, and it will be wonderful. Chickpeas, I've got a can of chickpeas. Now what you need to do with those is just get your sieve, rinse them under cold water, drain them off, they're ready to go. Honey, I've got a little bottle of honey, just going to use like a teaspoon, maybe a little bit more, just to add a little bit of sweetness. Apricots, I've got dried apricots. Now with those, if you want, you can soak them for a couple of hours in cold water, and the water could be used for maybe your stock, so you're keeping all the flavours. I'm just going to chop mine maybe in half and put them in as they are now. Now I've also got some pomegranate seeds, and we've got some flaked almonds. Going to use those just at the end, you know, make it look a bit more appealing, and also delicious with these pomegranate seeds. Now I bought mine ready to go, but you can obviously, you know, just open up your sort of pomegranate, get all your seeds out, good handful of those. With the flaked almonds, if you want, you could put them in the oven just to slightly toast them. Coriander, got fresh coriander there with the leaves. I'm just going to sprinkle those towards the end. What I might do with the stems, I might chop it up nice and fine and add that in again with the stew. Now, vegetables, I've got a green bell pepper. So what you want to do is just chop that up, you know, small chunky bits. Don't use the seeds, just the sort of, you know, the actual sort of green bit. Now I've got 1 onion, again, just sort of peel that, chop it up, you know, reasonably fine. Couple of carrots, probably just peel those and slice them up into, like, you know, quarters and cut them in half. A few cloves of garlic, and then obviously we just got the little bit of olive oil, which I'm going to use for frying the meat, but also when we're making up that quick spice marinade to go on it. So there's all the ingredients. Now what I'm going to do next of all is get everything prepared, get the meat and that marinade mix to go on it. So let's just put the spices in the bowl there. And also, I'm going to add that little bit of, I'm going to use olive oil, a little bit of extra virgin. You don't need much. That'll do. Might as well put the black pepper in there as well. And then you can use salt, any salt. That's it. Now, what we're going to do is just mix that together with our hands, but also with the lamb, I'm just going to chop that up, make it nice chunky bits. So let's do that first, and then we can just add it in. Now, I've just been chopping up the lamb neck fillet, so that's ready to go. Now, let's just give that a quick move around. We haven't got much oil in here, so just put that like that. And what we can do is mix in the lamb. And just keep mixing that around and try and get everything coated. So, you know, soak up all those lovely spices. Now with the lamb, I've rubbed that in. Look at that. It's all just gone onto that meat, and that is beautiful. Now what you can do with that is wrap it in a bit of cellophane, pop it in your fridge. If you can wait, leave it 24 hours for the sort of spices to work their magic and make that delicious. If you can't, a couple of hours would be good. Or if you're real rush, obviously you can go and fry it up in a minute. But if you can leave it longer the better really, 24 hours, beautiful. Now I'm going to cook mine a little bit sooner, so I'm going to put a bit of cellophane, pop mine in the fridge so I can just get everything prepared and get everything cleared up so it's all ready to go. Now I've left my lamb in the fridge, sort of, you know, just marinating with those spices for about an hour and a half. Obviously if you could leave it a bit longer, overnight, perfect. Now what I'm going to do is get on with the cooking. I've got all my ingredients laid out. Now the thing is, I'm going to be cooking in a clay tajine, and I've got an induction hob, and the two don't work together because you need pans, metal pans that you can stick a magnet on, and they work with the induction hobs. So what I'm going to do is with the tajine, I'm going to use that in the oven. So most of the cooking's going to be in the oven, but to start with, I'm going to get myself like a casserole pot or a frying pan just to brown off the meat and soften the onions, and then we can add it all into the tajine, pop it in the oven. So I've got my pot, a little bit of oil, it's just sort of heating up, so round about medium heat. So just pop them in. Look at that, got all that spice mix on the meat. That's what you want. Just move that around very quickly to start with. Just get it coated with the oil. Alright. Just leave that there. Get a little bit of colour on each side, flip it over, and then afterwards, you know, we can add the onions. Now, I've been cooking for about 7 or 8 minutes. Now I'm going to add in the onion. So, get that in there. And also, I've got my garlic. I'm going to hold off with the garlic and just try and soften down the onions. Don't worry if anything sticks to the bottom of the pan, because we're going to put some, you know, liquid in there in a minute. A bit of stock. Right, lovely. So what I would say is leave the onions, keep stirring, you know, giving them a stir. If the heat's too high, just turn it down a little bit. Soften down the onions just for a few minutes, really. Now what I'm going to do is add the garlic. Now with the garlic, I've already sort of got some of it crushed, but I usually, you know, use a little sort of crusher, put it in there, give it a squash, and get your knife. That's it. Just chop that little bit off there. So, got a little bit I've already done. Oh yeah, delish. Give that a quick mix. Oh, honestly, this kitchen is smelling so good, so good. This is going to be a nice stew, really good stew actually, not just nice, delicious. Now, let's put some liquid in here. Now I've got stock, lamb stock, and say 150 ml, maybe 200, just pour that in there. This is gonna kind of deglaze the pan, and we don't want too much liquid going into this tagine. So just loosen it all off. And once you've done that, which I'm pretty much done, I'm going to pop a lid on there. Just leave that so it keeps it, you know, nice and warm. Switch it off. So now I've browned off the meat, I've softened the onions. Now in the background, I've got my tagine. It was recommended that I soak it for about 20 minutes before I start, you know, putting all the food in and start cooking it. So got my tagine at the moment in some cold water, just soaking. Now what I'm going to do is take it all over to the table, and we're going to start assembling this beautiful Moroccan stew. Now with the tagine, I've soaked mine for about 20 minutes, a little bit of water in there. That is ready to go. Now I'm going to start putting all the ingredients in there. I'm going to start off with the vegetables. So let's just put green peppers. Now I've got my carrots. It doesn't matter in exact order. And then I've got coriander. Now with the coriander, I chopped off the stems because I think that is a really nice way of getting flavour in there. So try and get those out. Now the apricots, I didn't soak mine. I just, you know, chopped them in half, so pop those in. And then we can put chickpeas in there. This is looking good. I think what I'm going to do at this stage, just put a little bit of the honey. So really you only want like a teaspoon or so. So put a teaspoon in, and next time you can add less or add more, however you want it. I've also got, that's the chopped up tomatoes. Obviously if you could use fresh, use that, but that's what I've got today. I've got a stick of cinnamon, got a few bay leaves. Oh, look at this. It's going to look wonderful later. Now, saffron, that is really expensive, so do not go overboard with this. But I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit on top. Because at the moment, I'm going to use just a little, I'd call that a good pinch. I'm going to put all the meat in there. So all the meat with those juices and the onions is going to go over the top. Oh. When you take that lid off, that is absolutely beautiful. Now, going to pour all the juices, all the meat in there. Get the onion out. Scrape the bottom of that bowl. Now with the stew, I do not want too much water. I'm just going to very gently mix this around. Now I don't think I'm going to add any water in there, any liquid. I know it doesn't look like as much, but less is more sometimes. You get a really lovely flavour. So I'm going to leave that as it is. That looks wonderful. Now let's put the lid on. And I'm going to put that in the oven. Now with the tagine, I'm just going to put it in the oven. Now it's not a preheated oven, it's just a cold oven. So pop that in there, just put it on a baking tray. So, you know, start off from no temperature and we need to switch it on. Now I'm going to switch mine on, temperature wise, 160 degrees Celsius, 325 degrees Fahrenheit, gas mark free. So get that cooking. Now what I'd say is you want to be cooking for a good couple of hours, maybe a little bit longer. Make sure the meat is nice and tender and it's pretty much ready to serve up. Now whilst I've got my stew cooking away, going to be a couple of hours or so, I've got me sort of almonds, flaked almonds. I might as well pop those in the oven, just very lightly golden brown, toast those, and it'll be a really nice topping along with the sort of pomegranate seeds, and we've got the coriander and obviously that crystallized ginger. So we'll bring it all together at the end, but you might as well get everything prepared, lay your table so it's all ready when this beautiful stew comes out. Now let's take that out of the oven. That has been cooking for pretty much two hours. Oh, this smells absolutely wonderful. Let me just put that there. Now we need to dress it up a little bit. So Oh, oh, that looks good. That looks absolutely delicious. Now, just going to put some of these nuts on there. Oh yeah. Now I've got this ginger, crystallised ginger. Just put a little bit around there. Then I've got the pomegranate seeds. That is looking delicious. And the coriander. Now I'm going to serve that up and try some. I'm just going to try a bit of this. Look at this. Beautiful stew. Oh, there's so many good flavours in this. Bit of meat. Bit of veg. Oh yeah. That is really good. I'm just going to put a bit more juice. Let's just pull this aside. Look at that. That looks absolutely delicious. I'm going to try some of that. I've got a little bit of bread here. So let's have a little bit. Oh, nice crusty bit. Look at that. Just put that in there. Oh yeah. Let's just try some of this. Oh. Let me just try that. That is fruity, it's delicious, that is absolutely yummy. And look, this meat, let's just try that, see how it is. That meat is absolutely delicious, it's lovely and tender. You know, cook it for 2 hours, 2.5 hours, whatever it needs, but oh, that is so yummy. It's so flavoursome. Thanks for watching my videos. I'll see you in the next one. The original Naked Chef.